PE, and today's topic is 1.2.1 and we're looking at performance enhancing drugs. So within this video podcast, the objective is for you to basically learn how the drugs affect performance and the well-being of different individuals in different sports. And what I want you to learn in this video podcast is to describe the effects of each drug on the body, explain their effect on performance, and try and link those different sports to examples in sport as well. Like with any of the video podcasts, anything that's underlined, please ensure that you note that down, and remember to pause and rewind the podcast on your notes and make notes on your note sheet as I go through. So, first question really, it's a topical debate within sport. Why do sports people take drugs? And it's important that you know this for your exam. And it'll provide a bit of context as well. And some of the main reasons why people take drugs within sport is to improve or enhance their performance. Two other reasons that are linked really is sometimes people feel a pressure to win, and their coaches will pressurise them into taking drugs so that they're able to compete and win at different competitions. There's also an intrinsic reward with regard to gaining sponsorships through winning competitions or prize money, and there's a financial reward attached to winning. So if a sports person can actually take drugs to improve their performance and help them win, then a lot of them will actually do that too. And we're going to look at those different types of drugs that sports people take in order to enhance their performance. It's important to understand as well that drugs are, well, there's a list of banned drugs in sports, and they're governed by the governing bodies of the different sports, and they are banned and can lead to a prison sentence or being banned from those sports. So these are the different drugs that you need to know for your exam. You need to know what they are, what they do to the body, and their effect upon performance, and be able to link them to different sports too. So we've got peptides, hormones, and we're going to look at, in particular, EPO, beta blockers, anabolic steroids, narcotics and analgesics, diuretics, and also stimulants. Make sure you're making notes of those. It's important you do that. So we're going to first of all look at peptides, hormones, and we're going to look specifically at EPO. These are drugs that cause hormones to be produced in your body. So for example, EPO or erythropoietin, that basically increases the amount of red blood cells in the body. So a hormone will be released that makes your body have more blood cells. If you're an athlete and you've got more blood cells, you're then able to carry more oxygen, which also have an effect on your aerobic capacity and your cardiovascular fitness. Marathon runners tend to take this drug, also cyclists such as Lance Armstrong have taken these types of drugs to increase the amount of blood cells they've got, which will help them to run for longer distances within quicker times. The associated risks with EPO, because if you've got more blood cells, it increases the thickness of your blood, and this can lead to blood clots, strokes, or even heart attacks. So the next one we're going to look at are beta blockers, and these are drugs that can control the heart rate and slow it down, and they have a calming and relaxing effect on the body. Their effect on performance, because they're lowering the heart rate, they're really useful in sports such as shooting or archery, in which they will relax the body and enable those performers to keep a steady aim and be nice and relaxed as well. The associated risk, it can cause heart failure, as it can reduce your heart rate so low that your heart will actually fail and you can't pump the blood around your body. So it's very dangerous too. The next one is a really common drug that you've probably heard of, anabolic steroids. Now, a lot of people think that anabolic steroids are linked just specifically to increasing muscle mass. In a lot of instances they do, but what anabolic steroids actually do is they mimic the male sex hormone of testosterone, which can promote bone and muscle growth. So they don't actually alter your muscle, they actually produce more of testosterone, which will then lead to increased muscle and bone growth. Obviously this has links with increased muscular strength, which can be really useful in sports where you need strength and power, such as 100-meter sprint, shot put, javelin, those sorts of events. But it can lead to heart attacks, high blood pressure and strokes, and they're really common with people who take anabolic steroids. there's severe health risks. The next drugs are narcotics and analgesics, and these are drugs that are used to reduce pain. So sports performers will take these if they've got an injury and you want to play in a big final and you want to play through their injury. They affect your nervous system and they depress the nervous system so that you don't feel as much pain as you would if you didn't have these drugs. They can obviously lead to further long-term injury, and it can also have some emotional effects because it affects your nervous system, and it can result in loss of balance and coordination as well, which aren't good. So the next drug are diuretics, and they will increase the amount of urine that you produce. So a lot of sports performers will take these drugs in order to lose lots of weight by urinating a lot of the fluid in the body. But also other performers will take these to mask other drugs that they're taking. So if a performer is maybe taking an anabolic steroid, they would also have this drug, which will help to flush out the traces of those drugs, so that the doctors can't trace any of those illegal drugs in their body. And obviously, sports performers use these in sports where they're trying to lose weight, such as boxers or jockeys, and they can lose weight really quickly. The risks associated with that are dehydration, which can lead to dizziness and nausea, and ultimately to people collapsing during sports events as well. So the next drug I'm going to look at are stimulants. And these drugs have an effect on the nervous system, and they can increase your mental or physical awareness. So they stimulate your nervous system, make you more alert. These are used to overcome tiredness sometimes, and they can also reduce the effect of lactic acid on the muscles. So if you're feeling really tired, you can delay that onset of lactic acid buildup. The risks associated with that are insomnia, which is where you have irregular sleep, you can't sleep, and irregular heartbeat and high blood pressure, which can lead obviously to heart failure as well. So, in summary, what we've looked at there, we've looked at these different types of drugs, and I use this acronym to help you remember them: PBANs. So it's our peptide hormones, our beta blockers, anabolic steroids, narcotics and analgesics, diuretics and stimulants. So use that acronym to help you remember them. You'd also need to make sure that you know the effects of each of those drugs on performance and also on the health of an individual, and try and link those back to examples in sport. If you want to go a little bit deeper with this, after you've watched this video, go over your notes, but also go and research some of the famous drugs cheats in sport, and look at some examples and bring those to your lesson as well. And there's some examples on the board for you. And just learn about how the different drugs that different sport people use in different sports. Okay, don't forget to bring your notes. Thanks for watching.